Shout out to all my Nigerian fashion designers. I love y'all. Okay, well, welcome to another episode of the Eunice Ajim Show. I am your host, Eunice Ajim, and in this episode, we are going to speak about unconventional ways of getting into venture capital. In fact, we are going to look at a step-by-step guide on different ways you can get into venture without having an Ivy League degree, rich friends and families, and a lot of money. All right. I know I have mentioned this so many times, how my way was unconventional, and I was like, okay, like we need to figure out other people that have been able to do it without maybe like walking their way up into like associate and principal and partner, and all of those are like great ways. But I think a good example is Harry Stebbins. He literally decided that, and I feel like a lot of people have tried to like copy what he's doing and have not been as successful as he is. Because it is a very different strategy and it's very difficult. I'm like, people don't realize how stressful it is to like launch a podcast. I mean, I know it firsthand. I'm doing it right now. And especially when you have to like bring guests, like high quality guest speakers, it can be a stretch. And I think like what Harry did a really incredible job at is just figuring a way to like use social media, Twitter and LinkedIn to be able to like invite some of the best VCs we know out there in the US to join his podcast. And today, I don't even know, but I think he manages probably a few $100 million in assets under management across multiple funds. And really was because he was capable of like building a network for every podcaster he brought on the show. He never asked them for money. He started by asking advice and asking for them to like share their value and put it out there into the world, and doing a really good job at also sharing all the value that they were providing. And I'll assume a lot of people were happy with the way Harry was handling situations and decided, you know what, how about you become a VC too? We will give you some money. And before we realize it, now he's like probably one of like the top VCs out there with very little background in the venture capital space. Like, I don't even think Harry comes from like an Ivy League school. I don't think he actually went through the typical corporate route to be able to get to where he is. So a few ways to take action today to get you closer to breaking into VC. I would say the first one is the one that we all know, and I've mentioned it a few times. You just start investing on your own. Start investing a little bit of your money. And it could be as little as, if you're not in the 1,000 or the 500 or the 10,000 yet, what you can do is maybe even like look at crowdfunding platforms. That's like one of the very underrated platforms where you can find many startup founders. I know in the US, WeFunder and Republic are probably like the most common ones. I think in an African context, some of the few ones I know of, we have Get Equity, we have Daba Finance, and I think we have at least one or two more that I can't think of them off the top of my head. But start investing small amount. If you're comfortable doing a little bit larger check sizes, I would say join programs like syndications or angel groups, or just invest on your own. The second thing, I would say double on industry expertise. Like I mentioned earlier, investing is not just about investing anyhow. Like, we have a Bible, we have our thesis. Maybe your thesis is a geography focused thesis. So you're like, I'm excited about the African continent and I'll only invest in African tech startups. Or you can say, I'm a medical professional, I'm a healthcare professional. I think there's an opportunity in the healthcare space, and you can make a thesis around investing in health tech startups. Start doing that right now. Really double down on your industry expertise. Even start sharing that content. You can start making a lot of like content. One of my first episode was just like how to build your brand and how to really like build that content creation. Start by sharing a lot about why you're excited about a very specific field or a very specific industry or a very specific market, and like how you intend on investing that money into those companies. That's a great way of getting started and building yourself as a thought leader into the space. Number 3 is to build a competitive edge or a competitive advantage. In today's day and age, I will not stop preaching about this, is that audience is the new money. If you have an audience that is just like raving fans, you can sell them anything and they can really rally for you when an opportunity comes. This is exactly what Harry does. Every single time he's trying to get a new speaker, that maybe he has done as many cold emails as he possibly can and can't get his audience on the show, he typically goes towards Twitter and LinkedIn and just say, hey, yo, like I really need somebody to make an introduction to XYZ. Or please tag this name as much as you can in the comments so that they can pay attention to this post and have them get on my podcast. Depending on like what you're trying to get, or like the industry that you want to start investing in, is very similar to like really doubling down on your industry expertise. I would say while you are learning about it, I would say also share in public. Pretty much like build in public. That is like one advice that I share with founders all the time. The next one is get great work experience. It is not easy to break into VC when you have little experience or even no money. And there's not a set path on how to break into VC. You can go with the entrepreneurial route where you like build a successful company and you can exit some of that money and then use that to start angel investing, and then eventually use that money to launch your own fund. Or you can go even into like a big corporation where you work your way to the top, start making over $250,000 a year, and now you have a lot of extra money to spare and a lot of experience to be able to understand how company works, and you can start investing that money. So many different routes out there for you to be able to get started investing. Another way would be build a reputation from working with great startups or in great startups. What I mean by that is, if you are a founder and you're actually an exited founder, so typically like your company either went IPO or you got acquired, or maybe you have like great valuation, you're valued at like a really high amount, typically you get noticed, and that's a great way to like say, okay, like this person actually has experience working for a startup or working in a startup. If you're just an employee, and let's say you are the head of marketing at a really amazing startup, and maybe you were one of the first few employees and you've really helped them get to the next level of their company, share your experience, share the resources, really become an expert at that thing and just share with the world what you guys are building. Really build a reputation from working in or working for a great company. That will go a long way. If your CEO loves you, he or she may actually expose you to the company's investors, and that might be a great way to get the balls rolling. The next one is get into a business school. A lot of people go and get MBAs, and I think that getting an MBA will probably open you a lot of doors to walking into a venture capital fund. And like I've mentioned, you can typically start from an associate or an analyst standpoint. This is mostly for people that maybe have not gone through like a very specific program like Dream VC or like Included VC, and actually wants to go the school route and getting an MBA to be able to break into the field. The next one will be found a successful company. I mentioned this earlier. Like if you actually go out there and build a really successful company, you have some cash, you can start making a lot of investment. I've seen a lot of founders like successful fund actually join funds. The founders fund is actually like one that has built a reputation for snagging long-term successful founders into becoming VCs. I think like that strategy is an amazing strategy. The next one is prepare a market thesis. Like I mentioned, as venture capitalists, we have our Bible, and that is the best way for you to be able to like understand what are the type of businesses that I'm interested in, what kind of market do I want to invest, what is the thesis, what are the sectors, what are the industries, and really build your strategy. Am I going to be investing at the pre-seed level? Am I going to be investing at the growth level? What is the average percentage of companies that I want to own? How many companies do I want to invest in the lifespan? Will it be a power law model, or will it be a spray and pray model? Like really understanding the nuances of like what your thesis will look like will be very beneficial as you even go and either work for a fund or even build your own. The next one will be network by sending investment prospects. I actually think this is like a great way to really like get yourself like active. You might not actually invest dollar amounts. I know so many people that have sent us really great deals that have never invested, but are just so active being in the ecosystem, understanding founders and sharing those deals with us. And a lot of the times when you're being known in an ecosystem for being the person that is like helping founders with your pitch deck, helping founders with introduction to investors, helping investors with prospecting for deal flow. At the end of the day, as investors, you're in the market of finding the best companies out there to invest. That's our job. That's our existence. That's the reason why we live. And if you become really good at spotting great deals and sharing those with investors, now you might be known for maybe not the person that goes out there and fundraise, but you might be known for the investor that goes out there and find the best deals. And even that is like so valuable, because if I'm really good at fundraising, but I suck at finding great deals and identifying great deals, my company will not be successful. I think you need to have a balance of both. The next thing will be share your investment thinking online. Again, this is my bread and butter. This is what I do on a daily basis. It's the reason why I have the podcast. It's the reason why I have the YouTube channel. It is the reason why I consistently show online, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, every single day, sharing my expertise around investments and like my thought process when it comes to investing in African tech startups. The next one will be, don't ask for an internship, just start doing one. Unofficially, of course. Even over the last weekend, I've had so many people come to me and say, hey ma, can I intern for you? Hey ma, can I be your PA? Hey ma, how can I help? And I think sometimes you just have to do things without asking. If you see a need, or if you see like, okay, for example, Eunice or like this particular VC needs to have a better website, and I'm really good at web development and I'm trying to get into the space, right? Design that website and send it to them. Hey Eunice, I was looking at Ajim Capital website, and I really think you can show so much value if your website was XYZ. I took the necessary step to build that website and share it with you. I would really love to work with you, or even work with your portfolio companies. Here's the website. All you need to do is connect your hosting, and I can get on a quick Zoom call and give you a demo on like how the website works. And if it's a very good website, what are the chances that I will say no, I'm not interested? Very low, right? Don't come asking for an internship. Look exactly at what you want to do with a particular company. Show them how you can add value to them. It's the same as when I'm like, people are always like, oh, do you offer mentorship? I'm like, mentorship in what? Like, what do you want me to mentor you in? But if you came with a very specific ask, right? Here's my problem. Here's how I think you could advise me based off your experience. What is the answer? 1 or 2 minutes. The last one, but not the least, is start helping startups and their portfolio companies. Getting involved in the venture capital space is not always getting involved with money. You can get involved with your expertise. You can get involved with the resources. In fact, you can be that mentor. You can be that mentor to founders, especially if you've actually built a credibility that you know what you're doing, you have the experience, you can provide value to these companies. That's another great way of just like plugging yourself into the ecosystem without necessarily having dollar amounts to invest in them. I think these are a few unconventional ways to break into the venture capital space without having any kind of prior experience into the space. I hope you found this podcast episode useful. And until next time, I hope you have a great day and you are living the best version of your African dream. Thank you.